Let's cross now to Renad Mansour, who joins us from London. He's an Academy Fellow specializing in the Middle East at Chatham House. Renad, thanks so much for joining us. There was so much optimism in the lead up to this operation. Finally, Iraqi factions were united in a common cause, and progress, early on at least, was quite swift. Where do you think it stands now? Are you still optimistic?
Well, you know, I was in Baghdad and in Erbil and other areas of Iraq a few weeks ago, and you're right, the mood was very high, everyone was excited, and the military battle was going faster than expected. But it's important to note that that was because they were basically on the outskirts of Mosul, clearing some of the villages that, you know, ISIS wasn't putting up a fight for. So now we're realizing that as we get closer to the city of Mosul and move inside the city of Mosul, there's going to be much more of a battle. ISIS will fight for it, and it'll be more difficult because it's urban warfare. It's street, you know, they call it fights for streets, where, you know, taking certain blocks may take days amidst a bunch of civilians and risks of collateral damage of civilian being killed as well. So that kind of optimism is starting to kind of fade away as Iraqis realize that this is going to be a difficult battle. I mean, it still will be successful, but it will be a difficult battle.
And now, if Daesh is expelled from Mosul, for those fighters who do survive, where will they go? Where might they either find safe haven, or where can they go to camouflage themselves then among civilian populations elsewhere?
Yeah, so there seems to be a plan that they're coming up with, because it's also important to keep in mind that the whole legitimacy that Daesh used to have was based on this never being defeated, an undefeatable force destined by God. So obviously now they will face a defeat. So they've started to change their narrative to this is a test. This is a test by God, and it's a small battle, but we're still in it in the greater war to restore, you know, our caliphate. So what that means in sort of practical terms is some of the fighters will go to Syria to regroup. Some of the fighters will go underground in Iraq, just like they did before, you know, when it was Al-Qaeda in Iraq going underground. Basically, they'll start to stage an insurgency, which means that they'll start attacking civilian centers in Baghdad, the capital, or other areas, trying to kind of remind Iraqis that they're around. But more importantly, they're going to take a big gamble. They'll take a bet that the political leadership of Iraq will not be able to come to any sort of political agreement and a political victory. And we know in Iraq, without a political victory to supplement that military victory that will happen, we're going to be talking about this in the future anyways. And so they'll try and again feed off of sort of Sunni grievances a few months or a few years down the line and tell them, listen, we told you so.
Renad, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us live from London.